So the final communique, perhaps not outlining the final projects that people thought it might, but it did mention the Western Arctic Corridor. How important was that for you?
I think it's going to be an amazing project, and the fact that all 7 premiers in the West came together at our last Western Premiers meeting to identify, which I think is a visionary project that would see a corridor stretch from, call it Port of Prince Rupert, to the Port of Churchill, or one port on either coast that may not be exactly at that, depending on what it is the private sector says. It opens up a lot of opportunity to have a good conversation about oil pipelines, gas pipelines, transmission lines, doubling the rail lines so that you can do more export of food and fiber and other products. And so I think what you're seeing is that all of the premiers are trying to find a way to propose a project where there's mutual benefit. And I think those are projects that are very attractive to the Prime Minister, so I was pleased to see that he identified that.
Identified that project in particular. What about the spirit and the tone overall? Because you come in with a number of asks of Ottawa from Alberta. This corridor is just one. So how does this set into motion the partnership that you see as having with this Prime Minister?
Well, I think what we've seen is that he's not afraid to talk about being an energy superpower. He's not afraid to define that as being both conventional as well as new and clean energy. He's not afraid to mention the word pipeline and in conjunction with oil and gas. And all of that is a dramatic improvement over what we were witnessing from even just 6 months ago. I think that there's a recognition that with the value of the product that we have in Alberta, our bitumen is probably the highest value product that we have in the country. We've priced it out with 165 billion recoverable barrels at today's prices. It's a $9 trillion asset. You just simply wouldn't leave a $9 trillion asset in the ground when there's so much opportunity for both provincial as well as the federal government to benefit. And so we're trying to conceive of a project to try to find some common ground. So when we talk about building a new bitumen pipeline, understanding that the Pathways Group has been wanting to have a decarbonization in their production, those two things I think are able to allow for us to have a win-win. And that's what we're advancing, and it seems like we're having a breakthrough with this Prime Minister. That being said, I don't think it'll be a success if we have to have the federal government build the pipeline. I think we have to create the conditions where the private sector has confidence that they can build it in a reasonable period of time, that there's going to be not only a yes on the permitting, but also a yes on the construction. And that's what we've got to do some work on, because the 9 terrible policies that created the poor investment environment we have right now still need to be either repealed or dramatically revised. And so I'll be looking to see how that process goes as well.